James Webb Telescope, terrifying new images that can't be explained. James Webb Telescope has recently released some of the most terrifying and yet breathtaking images that are going to make you question everything. These images were of the stellar nursery, and this time they reveal far more than expected, so make sure to watch this video till the very end to find out all about it. We've been looking at these celestial bodies for thousands of years, and there still is so much that astronomers haven't discovered yet. Especially when it comes to star formation, things are still pretty down in the dumps. But scientists recently made a breakthrough with James Webb when the pictures of the stellar nursery were released on Monday. Do you know that these pictures could be more than 4.5 billion years old? Well, it makes sense because the stellar nursery is located 1,350 light years away. Simply put, if you are traveling with the speed of light in outer space, it would still take you about 1,050 years to reach the stellar nursery. If you look at the images released by James Webb, you'll find some pretty shady stuff happening, and that, according to the scientists, is intense star formation in outer space. For years, scientists have been confused about how stars are actually formed, and before this, all the pictures of this process were blurry and not particularly detailed. But with the advanced equipment of James Webb, it is becoming easier for scientists to figure out the origin of the universe. This recent discovery is also helping the scientists figure out what happened in the initial million years since the Milky Way was formed and how it evolved with time. Scientists waited for 5 years to get their hands on these images, and the result truly is terrifying but breathtaking. They're actually able to see the gas and dust formed by massive stars when they're born. Usually, the insane amount of dust literally makes it impossible to see what's happening inside Orion Nebula, and even the Hubble telescope wasn't able to get through it as it was mainly dependent on visible light. But with the James Webb Telescope, scientists can now use infrared light and see all the layers of dust that were hidden from the eyes for millions of years. Officials released a statement with the images saying that these are the first and most intricate pictures of what's happening inside the Orion Nebula. Initially, it surely was difficult for even Webb Telescope to get such clear images of Orion because it's really bright, making it almost impossible for telescopes to take clearer pictures. But Webb has some nifty equipment with which it can make the brightest stars visible to the naked eye. We get to see a war of newly born stars and gas clouds in the Orion images, and it looks very chaotic. Even though the pictures are magnificent, the chaos and mess is what makes them quite terrifying to look at. We get to see the southern region of Orion Nebula in the pictures of James Webb. The focus is mainly on the sword-like gas structure and the bright star that's in the center of the sword. This bright star is Omicron 2, which is located 186 light years away from Earth, and from what we know, it's comparatively nearer to us. We also get to see the clusters of gas turning into new stars and the clouds eroding and pushing out. We're basically diving into the heart of Orion now by revealing some of its biggest gas bodies and stellar radiation. But do you know what's actually terrifying? Well, the quantity of ultraviolet radiation that these baby stars emit. And this radiation is absorbed by the clouds of gases that surround them. So, these stars basically transform the clouds around them as they're born. With the recent images, scientists have been able to look into it in detail. The images are yet to be studied by a team of 100 scientists that will be chosen from over 18 countries, and then we'll get to know more about how this ultraviolet radiation affects formation of the stars in the nebula. But for now, the images have blown the minds of a lot of people as they're the clearest of shots we've ever seen of Orion Nebula. In fact, a lot of people are even wondering where exactly do these gaseous clouds go, and does this extreme ultraviolet emission affect the outer space in any way? Reports are that scientists would be able to solve the mystery of how stars are formed with the help of the said photos. The thing that makes people surprised is that Orion Nebula was 1,000 times denser than our Sun, but it eventually condensed and started giving birth to the new stars, some of which are pretty massive. It makes a lot of us wonder if the same could happen to the Sun someday, and would it be the end of life on Earth? Possibly yes. Even though it might take millions of years for the Sun to condense, the possibility is that it could still happen as it happened to the Orion. Scientists also believe that the pictures unearthed the same method with which the Earth and Sun were formed about 4.5 billion years ago. So, by studying these pictures, we could better understand the origin of this universe and our world. So, it kind of is a big deal. Around 700 stars are visible in the images, and there's a whole lot of gaseous structure surrounding them, which is what makes it look almost dreamlike. Even though the process of star formation is absolute chaos, it still looks better than perfection. But the most exciting thing is that we're closer than ever to understanding the origin of stars, and we might also understand how the sun was formed billions of years ago. But it also means that there would be a time when the sun too would perish into dust, and there's nothing more terrifying than that. The actual process of how the star formation affects the clouds around it is still unclear, so the scientists will be working on it in the future. But for now, the Webb Telescope is surely giving us a lot to think about. Also, the scientists have started working on how the radiation affects the cloud clusters with the help of these images. This would make the view of the universe clearer and help study the stellar formation too, which is the key to the origin of the universe. The astronomers are literally blown away by these images, but some are also terrified for what news it holds for our world and for the sun that we're completely dependent on. Other than that, the images are pretty cool. So, do you think these newly released images would transform our understanding of the universe? Tell us in the comment section. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, adios from our side.